They came as a gift from the Malaysian government. They have a very extensive relocation program over there, where they relocate problem elephants that are coming into conflict with humans and villagers by raiding their crops, and they'll take them to a habitat that's more suitable for them. Now, in some circumstances, they will take some of the younger elephants away from the herd to lighten the load on the new habitat that the elephants are travelling to. And they'll make these young elephants available to zoological institutions around the world, which is how we were fortunate enough to receive our two youngsters here back in 1992. And they arrived between the ages of 2 and 3 years of age. Now, there are only two different species of elephants surviving in the world today. They are the African and the Asian species. And Permai is going to come out the front now with her handler and help demonstrate some of the differences between these two different species, which makes it nice and easy for you to tell them apart. Now, one of the most obvious differences is the size of their ears. As you can see, our Asian elephants here do have large ears. However, the African elephants have ears approximately 2 to 3 times larger. There's a special reason for this. Elephants have a diverse network of blood veins and capillaries in their ears. When they get hot, they flap their ears. This circulates the blood through the ear, and heat dissipates through the surface of the ear. So it's quite a good cooling system for the elephant, and it works in a very similar way to that of the radiator of your car. Now, obviously, because the African elephants come from a much hotter climate, they have the larger ears for greater heat dissipation. Also, our Asian elephants have one finger-like projection at the end of their trunks, whereas the African elephants have 2, and they use these for picking up their food. African elephants do grow to be larger than the Asian species. A male African elephant will grow to reach around about 8 tonne in size, whereas a male Asian elephant will grow to reach around about 6 tonne in size. And finally, what Permai is showing you now are her tushes. Tushes are a modified form of tooth, almost like a small tusk. They're what our female elephants grow instead of the large ivory tusks. So it's only the male Asian elephants that grow the large ivory tusks. However, with the African species, both male and female elephants grow large ivory tusks. So there you have the 4 main differences. Now, as you can see, here at the zoo we work quite closely with our elephants. We work in what we call free contact. This basically means that we share the same space as the elephants and become a part of the herd. It's the best way to maintain an elephant's health and mental stability in the captive environment, as they do require a lot of hands-on care. Now, obviously in the wild, an elephant is quite capable of taking care of themselves. However, they do lead a very different lifestyle. A wild elephant will spend about 18 to 20 hours of their day travelling, searching for food, and because of this, they've developed a very fast-growing pad and nails on the base of their feet to cope with all the wear and tear from the travel. Now, obviously in captivity, they don't have the space nor the requirement for so much travel, and because of this, the pad and nails on the base of their feet still continue to grow at a rapid rate without getting that same amount of wear and tear. They can actually start to grow at an uneven rate, which can cause the nails to crack. In those cracks, sand collects. Sand can cause an infection and can result in a foot abscess, which is not what we want to see in our captive elephants. So we need to be able to have good hands-on care with our elephants so that we can maintain their feet, we can file their nails down for them and ensure that they stay in a good healthy condition so that they can lead a good long healthy lifestyle here in captivity. Now, to be able to do this, we need to train our elephants, and therefore we train them through a method of handling called operant conditioning. This is basically training through positive reinforcement. We ask them for a behaviour, they give it to us, and we give them a positive reward. And today they're receiving sweet potato, carrot and apple. So they are trained to do a number of different things. Permai at the front here is a highly intelligent elephant. She knows up to about 60 to 70 different verbal commands. And they are taught these for a number of different reasons. Now, one is to give us good access to all different parts of their body. As you can imagine, given their size, if they have a wound that requires treating on their back, it's a lot easier for us to access it if we can get them to stretch out or lie down for us. Now, it also helps to keep them physically fit and mentally stimulated, as the captive environment for such an intelligent animal can become quite boring. When they do become bored, that's when you start to see stereotypical behaviour setting in, which is not what we want to see in our captive elephants. So by giving them new things to learn, different things to motivate and stimulate their mind, it helps to keep them busy and prevents this from happening. Now, first thing in the morning, we'll actually lay all of our elephants down and we give them a scrub bath from head to toe. So we'll scrub them all over with a deck scrub and a horse shampoo. This helps to remove excess dead skin cells that build up on the skin surface, and they would remove these naturally in the wild by rubbing up against the rough bark on trees. Now they don't have access to do that here in captivity, so we do need to be able to assist them with it to ensure that their skin stays in a healthy condition. Also, whilst we're giving them their bath, it's the perfect opportunity for us to check them over and ensure that they're in good health. Trisha, our oldest elephant at 52, has had some teething problems, so we do flush her mouth out for her first thing in the morning and ensure that her teeth are kept nice and clean. Now we also take blood from our elephants once a week, and we do footwork on them fortnightly. And we'll come out here in the exhibit and interact with them as much as we can throughout the day. Much of our day is actually spent interacting with the elephants, and we do have a variety of things we can use to stimulate their minds. As you can imagine, food is one of their favourites, and we do give it to them in a variety of shapes and forms. We have various treat barrels that we can hang from the scratching poles within the enclosure. We'll fill these with different treats, so they actually have to bang the barrel around to retrieve the treats. We'll also freeze different treats in water, so they actually have to smash the ice to get to the treats. And we'll play different games with them, such as soccer with a large football. They enjoy doing paintings, playing musical instruments, going swimming, and taking us riding. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we do house a male here at the zoo. He's housed separately to the females. The main reason for this is that male elephants in the wild do separate themselves off from the herd between the ages of 8 and 14 years of age. This is when they reach sexual maturity. They'll actually take themselves away and either form a small bachelor group or become completely solitary, only coming into contact with other elephants when they're actually ready to breed. If we did have our male out here in the enclosure with the females, he would be quite aggressive towards them and could do them a great deal of harm. It would also mean, however, that we couldn't come out here in the enclosure and interact with the females. Now, because of this, we work him in a different system. We work him in what we call protected contact. This basically means there's always a safety barrier between him and us. We never actually enter his enclosure. He is, however, extremely intelligent and is very food motivated, so it makes it nice and easy for us to train him and work him under these circumstances. And therefore, he does get exactly the same treatment as you see our females receiving out here today. So he still gets his scrub bath first thing in the morning. We take blood from him weekly and do footwork on him fortnightly. And we'll interact with him throughout the day to ensure that his mind is kept stimulated and motivated. Now, come the end of the day, all our elephants get given access to their barn, and they can come and go at their free will over the evening. Now, this is when we give them the predominant part of their dietary intake for the day, and the main reason for this is that elephants only actually sleep for 4 hours of the evening. So we need to leave them with lots of things to keep them busy and active throughout the evening while we're not here. Now, we'll just end on a note on conservation. There's only 23,000 Asian elephants left. Half of these are living in captive situations. The main reason for loss of elephants is loss of habitat and elephants coming into conflict with humans. Here at the Perth Zoo, we like to do what we can to help our wild friends. We actually have our own conservation fund set up. You may have heard of or seen our elephant paintings. They're available for viewing and for sale in the zoo shop, with the proceeds from these going into wild Asian elephant conservation. That's the end of the talk now. Please feel free to stay around, and the keepers will come to the front of the boardwalk and be happy to answer any questions that you may have for us. Thank you.